sorry, it's not the recording. It's boys. Look who it is.
Yeah, that's on the one we're keeping, guys. Way to go, Blevins.
Yeah. Shout outs to everyone who was there for the first take.
Yeah, what is this, number 3 or so? But anyways, guys, welcome to episode number 30. I am Jim Deathblow Reed. That's John the Blevins over there. And our special guest today is it Baephlex or Aflex? Can you...
It's pronounced Aflex. The B is silent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's silent and invisible if you're trying to find him on Twitch.
That's true.
We definitely want you guys to be able to find him on Twitch and Twitter at Aflex and twitch.tv/Aflex. Really one of the first streamers I ever got really into. Like, I used to just watch the bigger name, the huge name streamers, the big pros with 30,000 people, and I didn't really quite get it yet. And Aflex was one of the first guys that I started to watch because back then, I mean, when I found you, buddy, you had like nobody over there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I had literally nobody, and you had you had what I have, on a good day now. But it's a pleasure to have you here, man. We really appreciate you coming by.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
No problem. And it looks like we're just starting on the Aflex slide, so things are a little jumbled. We had a chipmunk somewhere in the wires of my microphone, and. So, yeah, this is attempt number 2, take 3, and I think we nailed it. So,
yeah, we got it.
All right, well, we're going to kind of we're putting you on the hot seat right away here, Aflex. We've got some questions, and we're going to grill you.
Cool.
All right, it's actually going to be pretty casual, though. You don't got to worry too much about it.
I'm ready.
All right, so how long has it been since you shaved? Let's get to the real questions right away.
Oh, okay. That's the most important question, I guess. So let's see. I went on vacation, not last week, but the week before. So it would have been. I'm not looking at a calendar right now, but probably about 2.5 weeks, maybe. Yeah, about 2.5 weeks.
Not too bad. Comes in even, man. That's good.
That is nice.
Yeah, it's nice. I love it, and I love it. I don't have to shave in the morning. It's great. Remember, like the first time, because I wake up at 5:30 to go to work, right?
Oh.
Yeah, and like it usually takes me like so long to shave because my skin's so sensitive. I get like ingrowns and stuff, so I have to shave with a T outliner. It's like like the clippers that like the buzzers that the barbershop uses that like they get you like real close. That's what I used to shave. So it used to take me like literally like 30 minutes to shave, and now I don't have to do that anymore. I just like get like a double-edged razor, trim over here, and I'm good to go.
Oh, man. You gotta just let it run wild, man. You gotta get this kind of thing going, buddy.
Yeah.
You want to talk about just being lazy in the morning? I literally roll into the shower and straight to work, and I just don't. Nothing else matters.
Shower. What?
I mean, it depends what day it is, right? Like Tuesdays, Thursdays.
It used to depend which job I was going to.
Oh man!
Now I have one.
Yeah, I work at a hotel, so I couldn't like really like bush it out, Yeah. But like me, I might because it's kind of like a funky hotel. They might let that slide.
I used to deliver catering, and the beard was never quite this bad back then. But I'd still have to there was places that would make me put on a beard net to go in, and it was just so the whole thing, I was just like this stormtrooper of cloth all over my face with protective goggles, and it was a dog food factory, and it felt like the most ridiculous thing ever. But anyways, apparently we all 3 of us play Hearthstone. I don't know if you guys remember that or not. It's
now that you mention it, yeah.
I mean, I almost forgot.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely forgot. I thought this was Magic the Gathering podcast.
I didn't forget. I have nightmares about Hearthstone.
Well, speaking of Hearthstone, my man, I mean, we've talked about the beard, and the other requirement for being a guest on the show is having achieved the legendary rank, which you now do on a pretty monthly basis. So what can you tell people that are kind of getting close to making that final push towards legend? They topped out at rank 5 last season, and now they're really trying to make that push.
I mean, using the right deck obviously is important. The meta changes faster than it used to, so You might find yourself running into a lot of aggro decks in the morning. Well, usually like you get aggro decks at night, right? People do like all the face hunters come out at night and stuff like that. But
That's
yeah,
true. I do come out at night.
that's true. Yeah, you do. Yeah, nice to know. So, yeah, just adjust to the meta. Watch a lot of streams, like instructional streamers. That's really important. Um, you could read a lot of guys.
Baephlex, for example. You can learn a lot over
That
there.
guy.
Example, just, I do my best. Um, but yeah, just like a lot, like just being as consistent as you can, playing a lot of games. It takes a lot of games. And tilting is definitely a factor. Like I know we've all been there where we're doing really well, and all of a sudden we just like have that 1-2 bad game like streak, and then all of a sudden we're just like we go down from like rank 5 to like rank 7. We're just like, oh, you know. So
Yeah.
like I like to have like a big jug of water like right next to me, you know, because like when you're
Pour it
playing
all
like,
over
for
your
so
face when
long,
you're-
you forget to eat, you forget to drink, and your mind just starts to like get a little fuzzy. So that's definitely a factor in tilting. Like tilting's definitely a real thing. So just be
Yeah.
wary of that.
Yeah.
And
And
the
it-
beard
it's like-
helps a lot too. Like if you grow, if you actually take time to grow the beard, you will eventually become a better player. It just
You think
Or-
clearer when you can just,
it's
stroke
true.
your beard, just really, it soothes
and
you.
you go one
It's
step further.
so true. Like it was brought to me from it was brought to my attention from one of my viewers that when I'm like deep in concentration, I like stroke my beard maniacally. Just like, you know.
That's
At this
awesome.
point, I can't help it, and I used to
Yeah.
used to not do it for a while.
If I
after
had
had
a beard, I touch it all the time, man.
Oh man, I just get lost in there.
And when you shave it, you get phantom beard too. You get phantom beard when you shave it. I'll be like doing this when there's no beard there. I'll just be like grabbing air. It's just a thing. And Aflex, you might be able to kind of agree with me here. If everything changed once I hit Legend for the first time. So like back before I was Legend, it was like the end of the season was just I was just like pulling my hair out. I'm like, I gotta get Legend. Oh, I gotta get there. It's like such a grind. And you're just like
Yeah.
feel like I need it. And then when you get Legend, it's like everything is saved. We're all better now. Like you've proven yourself to the world. You got the Legend card backs. Now it's just can I get there consistently? But it's not the same. That first leap over Legend is it's a huge one.
It was definitely. I remember the feeling when I was at Final Boss, and my good friend Joey SC2, who's also a streamer, one of the first streamer that I was watching. He actually got me into streaming. Like
He's
he
a
was like,
podcast alum, a streamer spotlight alum.
Yeah, you and him both actually.
Yeah.
oh wow, yeah. So yeah, he's a really cool dude. So, like he was so much support. Like he brought so many people into my stream, and like he did like looked the next day. Like he did like 10 tweets. Like, come on, like everyone get in here. It's Aflex trying to hit Legend for the first time. And I was at Final Boss, and I just had this feeling. It just like this feeling. Like I felt like I don't know. It's hard to explain. But yeah, once I hit that Legend, like I just like everything just started like it used to feel like such an unattainable thing to me.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I just did it. All of that time, like all those months and months and months of grinding where I just never hit Legend, and I just did it. So
I remember I picked on you once while you were streaming. You're like, hit me up in chat. Let me know what you guys want. Let me know what you want to see me play. I'm like, I want to see games after Legend, and I like get on it.
I remember that.
You looked a little bit like a gut shot animal for half a second. Like you're just like, wow, Jim. Wow. Okay. All right. I see how it is. Yeah.
That tough love though. The tough love.
Yep.
I only
then
did it
it's
like a month or two before you, and you've hit Legend more times than I have at this point. 'Cause, I mean, you were an animal. I always kept logging in and doing my quests, waiting for TGT to come out. But you like hit it every single month. You did not care, man. You kept plugging away, no matter how boring that metagame got.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with something about me. Like I rarely get bored playing video games. Like I can just play and play and play. I won't get bored. so that helps a lot because a lot of people do
Yeah.
get bored, you know.
Yeah, that was
But I just wanted it so much. I just wanted it so much, and like I actually like I'm really serious about Hearthstone. Like I'm not a casual player, even though I don't play as much as like, you know, Tides of Time or someone like that, you know. But like I really want to become like better at the game. Like I want to continue to improve as a player. I want to grow my community, and hopefully someday like do it full time. Like that's the dream. So we'll see.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, you're definitely one of those people. Once tournament mode comes out, and I want, you know what I mean, and I really want to start pushing tournaments because I'm really kind of waiting for that. Not that it's announced or not definitely coming even.
The pipeline at all, yeah.
Right. You know, if it ever does drop, I'm going to get really serious about tournament play and trying to push into those things. So, you know, you're definitely on that list of people I want to try to form into even if it's just a makeshift temporary thing, like a little team action so that we can help each other and test and be coordinated.
Yeah.
Because you're this, you know, you're similar to the way I am in that regard. Like if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right and I'm going to do it well. And I like watching your stream because you're very vocal about your decisions and why you're doing things. We differ a lot, but I never like that's wrong. I just that's not what I would have done. You know what I mean? Like it's always
Everyone
I
plays differently.
Yeah, I love getting that different perspective from somebody that's vocal and talks through the plays.
Yeah, same.
So you said you're not a casual player, but what you know, that kind of answers my next question. But we were going to ask you what you thought about Brawl because we catch a little flack for our opinion on Brawl.
I play Brawl when I'm bored. You know, I played a game like you had asked me previously, like what I thought about Brawl, and that you know we might be talking about it here. So I was like, I'll play a Brawl. You know, so it was like this death rattle thing. Like death rattles occur twice. I was like, I'm gonna play Hunter. I'm gonna play Life Jugglers and Haunted Creepers and Mad Scientists, and I'm gonna win. You know, and you know that's what and lo and behold, I went against another Hunter. You know, and it seems like that happens like every like it's either like Mage. You know, like Mage is like the you know the flavor of the week for like Brawl or something like that, you know. But like I'm definitely more of like a ladder player. Like I want to improve as a player, so like I'm always playing ladder. Like I rarely play arena. But Brawl's fun. It's like a nice break. Like if I find myself starting to like kind of tilt a little bit, I find it useful to like not just stop playing because I wouldn't want to stop streaming, but I'm like I'll play a Tavern Brawl, you know, or I'll do an arena, you know.
Yeah, we, me and John we were like all gung-ho on the podcast about it being tournament mode when they were like announcing something. And so when it hit and it was Brawl and it was just super casual and not for the competitive player really at all, we were pretty gut-shot about it, you know, we were really disappointed. And so, but we tried to approach it fresh when it came out because we knew we wanted to talk about it on the show. And the first week was pretty cool. You know, we did it in the after show. We had a good deal of fun with it. We loved that everybody said, you know, Ragnaros was bad and Nefarian was the only way to win games in it. And we, like, disagreed pretty heavily with them that was the only option. Like, they were both pretty viable. And then the next weeks came, and we're like, wow, we hate this. Wow. You know, and then it was just like, this is so bad.
And now we're here.
And we just, like, stopped talking about it on the show completely because we started to get jokes about, like, what Brawl do they hate now? And it's just, all right, we'll stop.
The answer is all of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's just like nothing about the new Brawls that they've been doing is compelling at all. Like you said, the Ragnaros one was cool because you're like playing something completely different. Like you can't play with these cards, you can't play with these heroes, you can't do anything that you're doing in here. And then it's just like play a regular deck, but now you get bananas. Woo! Like who cares? Like that's really stupid. And then it's basically just been different iterations of bananas every time. Or like even worse, like we built your deck for you and you get to play it.
Those are John's favorite actually, but I hate those because I just want to like I'm okay with it if they want to like give me a new meta to figure out. Like this week's like, you know, you're talking about doubling death rattles and things like that. And I'm thinking like, well, the secrets are the most powerful. Like I'm like Mad Scientist has death rattle, and the secrets are more powerful in Mage. So that like has me wanting to like build a Mage deck to do my Tavern Brawl this week. So I like it when they give me the chance to like have a new meta to solve or something like that to figure out. But it has no replayability. I do it, I get my pack, and then I'm just like, why am I here?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
The only thing I've
that's my main issue.
the only thing I found it useful for is like if I have quests to do and like I don't want to build a rogue deck for ladder because I don't think rogue is that good right now. Or maybe that's not the case now, but like in general, like if I don't want to play rogue deck or I don't want to play a priest deck on ladder, I'll just play it in Tavern Brawl because it's usually a little bit more fun to play the Tavern Brawl with a random priest deck than it is to play like a really bad ladder deck. So that's
Yeah.
what I use it for basically.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Like there was I had a rogue quest, and like I think like last week or like the week before there was like a like I don't know. I did like a brawl with rogue, and I ended up like it took a while, but I won. And like you're right, I just have to like say like you said that rogue wasn't good now. It's not, and it sucks. It's
I've
so
actually
man.
tried to build it. I have like a mid-rangey like tempo rogue built right now, and it's just not that good.
Well,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
we talk about the last chance qualifier in a little bit, I want to talk about the position of rogue deck. I saw it was Ryzen playing it, and it was really really interesting. I only saw it for I think one game when I was able to watch the tournament, but we'll get to that in a little while.
Sure.
Speaking of the metagame a little bit, Flex, it's really kind of leveling out now at the moment. We're starting to see some definition to what the top decks are, and it certainly looks like the Jokerdin, the Secret Paladin, is going to be a legit
Isn't it the
contender.
Riddler, not the
Yeah,
Joker?
Riddlerden, that's right.
Yeah, Riddler then. Yeah, right. Okay.
And also, we kind of have Patron Warrior in there. Where do you think those decks are? Is there a nerf incoming to either of these things in your opinion, or?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about a nerf. I know they're the best decks, you
Yeah.
know. Like Patron obviously is still the best deck. Um, and it's going to continue to be the best deck. It's just so powerful, you know. I don't know if there's going to be a nerf. I'm glad that there's a deck as good as Patron now.
Yeah,
Um,
I hate that it's
you know
that
that
deck.
Yeah, I mean, I wish there were just like more decks on that level, you know, so there was no nerf needed. It's like the difference between like obviously like the difference of Patron and like Secret Paladin, like Secret Paladin. I mean, it's an interesting deck, but it's just like it doesn't require nearly as much skill to play as Patron. Like Patron's like a very difficult deck to play. Like not even like the pros play it perfectly, you know. But like Secret Paladin, you're just like, oh. Challenger.
Turn six, yeah, Challenger.
Put
That's
down
it.
Doctor Six. I win. Oh, I got two
Yeah.
of them. Talk to put one down on seven. You know, so you just like it's just so.
Did you know
Uh,
Divine Favor draws 7 cards, so I win this game? Like, okay. I get really disappointed with Divine
it's
Favor
just
when
ridiculous.
yeah I'm playing some control deck and they're just like, oh, thanks for that, and you just get completely
Yeah.
punished.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
it's a really efficient deck. I mean, like it has all those shitty like 1 mana. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
ding! There it is. There's the dollar.
Yeah.
Yes, I knew we'd catch
Okay.
it.
So it has.
Donate buttons below the stream,
I
Flex.
hope-
You can
I
send
hope
your
that-
dollar in that way.
I hope that wasn't one of your cards because I just said it.
Well, in addition to these two kind of powerhouses, one deck I've been playing more than the rest, and it's not the only version of it, but Dragon Priest, and there's also been Dragon Warrior. I've seen iterations of Dragon Mage. Do you see these kind of sticking around, or do they get figured out and people kind of redefine their early game and all of a sudden they don't work again?
I think Dragon Priest is going to continue to be viable. Dragon Warrior, I'm not so sure of. I mean, Dragon Priest is. It seems like it's really good,
Yeah.
but it does have some pretty good counters. Like I've been using Freeze Mage, and I'm relieved of the fact that Dragon Priest doesn't run anti-kill bots, you know, or
Yeah.
Lotheb. It's amazing. Just like, and there's so many of them on ladder right now. I just been doing that, but
At most, without Justicar on like 10 mana, they heal 4 a turn. If they Nova and Hero ability, that's the max healing a priest can really do in that dragon deck to their face.
yeah, exactly. You know, so that's good. I mean, all is it gonna change? Yeah, probably. I mean, like it always changes. It's never like really the same. Um, you know, but like I don't think Secret Pally is going anywhere. I think Dragon Warrior is not going to be. I don't think Dragon Warrior is going to be too popular. It's not really that popular right now. Like I don't run into a lot. Like Patron's just better.
Yeah.
So like why, you know? But like Dragon Priest is probably the best priest right now. So I don't see that going anywhere anytime soon.
All right.
Yeah, I've been playing Dragon Priest, and it was way better during the first week of TGT than it is now. I think no one was really playing Patron at all during the first week just because they wanted to play new cards. The people who didn't have the resources to make totally new decks were just playing like face decks, and Dragon Priest is really good against Hunter and all those like the early game decks. But those decks have kind of vanished a little bit. So now the like established meta kind of wails on Dragon Priest a little bit.
Calento tweaked it some, though. I've got to say, like he's back to the Shrinkmeisters and the Cabal Shadow Priests, and I've been playing his deck.
Those are good.
On stream, he went 37-0, like 37 wins in a row on his stream playing this deck in the last week, and
I believe it.
Just went instantly. I'm like, all in. Don't care.
You're gonna have to ship me that list because I'm interested to see it.
Should be pretty easy to find on Hearthpwn for anybody in chat that wants to check it out as well. That's where I found it. It was the #1 deck at the time, but that was a few days ago. Baephlex, the next thing we have here, really the last thing.
Hold on, do we want to segue into the first game before we go into?
Yeah, we might as well. We might. Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot.
Before we go into all the
next.
Yeah,
slide.
you forgot about my game.
Scum. I forgot. I should have just moved the slides. Should have been in a different order, but
it's okay.
All right, those of you familiar with the show, you know that we have 2 games we play every single week. The first one is the newer game. That's the Blevins creation, known as. Go ahead, John.
The Blevins Bluffs. Baephlex.
Baephlex. All right, so if you're not familiar, Baephlex, what's going to happen here is John has 3 little stories he's going to tell you, okay? One of them is true and actually happened, and 2 of them are of his own fabrication. They've come from his mind.
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, if he's feeling generous, one of them will be a little easier. To determine,
well, I didn't know that Baephlex was playing this game, so there's like an inside joke in one of them, so you might not get it, so I might get him.
All right, okay.
All right.
And it's also entirely possible that you have looked at this game kind of works between me and Jim because Jim never goes on Reddit, so I really just take stuff right from the Hearthstone Reddit and usually use that. So if you've frequented Reddit a lot, you might have already seen this, but hear me out anyway. Even if you know the answer, let me finish them at least. Okay, so #1. I focus this one. I've tried to pick a theme every week. So this week's theme is in the arena. So all of these have to do with arena. Okay, so #1. A streamer had a board that had a minion in play from 7 different classes, none of which were the class that he was playing. So he had a minion that it was a full board. It had 7 minions. All were from a different class. None of them were from the class that he was playing. That's #1. #2, a streamer had an arena run with not 1, not 2, but 3 Dr. Booms in it. His arena deck had 3 Dr. Booms in it. That's #2. And #3 is Kriparian and Masan did a tandem stream where they both agreed that Dr. Boom was in fact better than Tyrion. They went back on what they had said previously on Twitter and unanimously agreed that Dr. Boom was better than Tyrion in Arena. That's #3. So to recap, 7 different minions, 7 different classes. None of them were the class he was playing. #2, a arena deck with 3 Dr. Booms in it. And #3, Crip and Masan said, "Yeah, Blevins, you were right. Dr. Boom is better than Tyrion." Which one actually happened?
I'm gonna go with #2.
Number 2, you think that a streamer had 3 legendaries in his deck, his arena deck, and all 3 of them were the same one, and that same one was the best legendary in the game?
Yes.
Not for
Well, you are correct. It was, in fact, an arena run that had 3 Doctor
That's
Boom.
insane.
It is.
I hope he went 12-0.
He did not. He only got 6 wins.
Your curve's
Well,
probably.
yeah. I mean, he probably
pretty
didn't have
bad.
a good early game.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd still take
does
it though.
really matter? You just play Doctor Boom on 7, 8, and 9. How do you lose?
And Baephlex, since you're on the outside looking in, I did an episode where I got to gloat over Blevins because he was streaming one day doing an arena run, and I don't remember the context or how it came up, but he made the ridiculous statement that Tyrion is significantly worse than Dr. Boom when given the choice between the two in arena. And I felt very adamant that it was the opposite way. I thought Tyrion would have been considerably better than Boom in the format. And he went on to say ridiculous things, mostly to mess with me, but he said there was a lot of situations where he'd prefer Sunwalker to Tyrion. And
like on turn 6, come on.
And it like devoured his stream, and I was the only one that liked Tyrion in that situation. Like every viewer was against me, and it was, you know.
It was Falcone Punch agreed with me.
Yeah.
We got some other people to agree with me too.
And he said the only way he'll even concede that my point wasn't more like moronic and stupid was if I got both Kripparrian and Masan to tweet at me and tell me that they would take Tyrion over Dr. Boom, pick one, pack one of an arena. And it took me 20 minutes to get that. And they
and I made this assuming that none of them would ever bother tweeting back to him. So I was like, this is perfect. I can't possibly lose. Yeah. I wake up the next morning with like 50 texts from Jim to just all say boo. And the Kripparrian responded to your text. Or Kripparrian favorited your tweet. Masan favorited your tweet. Wait, what? Why? Why? Why couldn't you have just not responded for once in your life?
So yeah, I had a lot of fun with him about that. So that's why he was taking a jab at that.
Completely owned.
All right.
So wait, Alex, did you see that? Did you see that video, or did you just not believe that he could have had 7 different minions of 7 different classes?
That just seemed like so far-fetched. And the
But it's 3 Doctor Booms.
yeah, but I mean the other ones are so much more unlikely.
I was trying to think of the logistics behind how to pull off the other one, and I'm thinking obviously Piloted Shredder has to be involved. It probably has to be a mage playing Unstable Portal, and I'm thinking like, how do you actually get to 7 though?
Mirror Entities 1, Unstable Portal could be 2 more if you had 2. Let's see. You could maybe
Sky Golems.
I was thinking
Shredders,
Shredders,
Sky Golems, and not what's the Transmogrifier?
Faceless Manipulator.
Faceless Manipulator. Well, Faceless Manipulator would do the same thing as Mirror Entity.
Right.
But if he was also playing Mage, you could take his stuff that he played from Unstable. Okay, it's very unlikely. I'll give you that. But I think 3 Doctor Booms is also pretty unlikely.
They are both, but I think I was leaning the same way as Flex there. All right, well, you're up 1-0, Flex, and you're gonna try to stump the Blevins. So we're gonna see. Yeah, you got a 3-point game here going on, and you're off to the early lead. So congratulations on that. I'm pretty sure. Didn't Ruben? Did Ruben crushed you too? Didn't he?
I don't think we had this game out yet when Ruben was on the show, but he crushed me in Stump Blevins. Yeah, he
hit you with like legendaries you should have known.
He hit me with
it was glorious.
No, it wasn't that I should have known. He picked pirate cards. He picked weird pirate. He didn't pick legendaries. He picked the epic pirate card, and which I actually have played and constructed. So I actually had no excuse whatsoever. But he picked something else too.
Anyways, moving on here, we're going to start to talk a little bit about the upcoming tournaments as we get closer and closer to BlizzCon here. Baephlex, have you played in any tournaments recently or really at all?
I have not. I've never played in one tournament.
Okay. I remember you did like a kind of a show match for, it Falcone Punch or whatever, but I wasn't sure if it was a full tournament or anything.
It wasn't a full tournament. Well, yeah, I did. Actually, I did play in one tournament. And I ended up facing off against Curdy, Curdy Wordy. For those of you guys who don't know, he's like a extremely top tier player,
Yeah,
and I lost
that
against him.
was
I lost the first two, and then I won the next two, and then I lost.
ah.
So yeah, but I was pretty satisfied with my gameplay there. But I would love to start doing tournaments. I really would.
Yeah, I'm definitely starting to look towards that now that the grand tournament's out and the metagame is still a little bit new. Tournaments, I think, are a unique opportunity to kind of brew something since your metagame is so restricted. And we had the last chance qualifiers just this past weekend, and if that kind of finalized this list that you guys see on the screen, these are the I want to say it's 40 players, I'm pretty sure. These are the guys that will be competing in the North America qualifier. I want to say the top 6 from here, I don't know, some number of people from this tournament will qualify for another tournament, which actually puts you directly into BlizzCon. So all these guys are getting pretty close. There's your boy Curdy right there in the middle and towards the bottom, right above Strife Crow, another big name. Hot Form is a known quantity in the community as well. Zalay, Amaz, Silent Storm, Phone Tap, Fibonacci. This is a much more stacked lineup than I remember when I looked at it before.
Jab and Dart are also people too.
Yeah.
Strife Crow, Trump,
Champ,
there.
Firebats there.
Yeah,
Raynad, Trump,
there's a lay too.
How many of
Kit
these guys have
Kats.
you beaten, Flex?
Kit Kats.
Let's see. I beat Amaz. I
I've also
beat
beat Amaz.
Fibonacci. I beat
I've also
Firebat.
beat Fibonacci. Haven't played Firebat.
I beat Just Saying. I
Nice.
beat. I faced off against Jab. I don't remember if I beat him. I think I might have. I beat Hot Form. I beat Curdy. I beat. Who else did I beat? I beat Hyped. I beat Dog.
There you have it, folks.
And
Apex
I lost
on
against
stream.
Raynad. I wanted to
Dogs.
beat him so bad, and I
I
lost.
know he's pretty high up there on my list. Raynad and Amaz, I think, are my number 1 and number 2 that need to join my pro player
Need to join the
graveyard
graveyard.
below. Yeah. I take screenshots of all of them, and they're like the banner images for all the panels on Twitch. Is
Nice.
their death screen.
It's awesome.
But yeah, it's curious because so far, every time they've crowned a world champion, the next day, I've beaten them to steal the crown from them.
So you
And you
are the
actually
world
get it.
champion.
I
Yeah,
am
you get
currently
the
the
prize
reigning
money,
world
too.
champion. Yes.
You get
Wow.
the prize money too.
Yeah, I'm still like I gave him my PayPal email like forever ago. I'm still waiting. It's kind of rude.
I'm
at
sure
this
it'll
point,
come in
but-
any day now.
Yeah, it's in the mail. Check's in the mail.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so
Quit your job yet?
go full time. I actually have talked to my boss curiously enough, and he says as long as I help him become a pro streamer after I become a pro streamer, he'll even give me like a leave of absence, so that way I don't have to quit, and I would be able to come back if it didn't work out. So
Are you sure
That's
he
awesome,
didn't
man.
say
That's
leave
actually a
of
really good
absinthe?
idea.
what'd you say? Clemens?
Are you sure he didn't say leave of absinthe?
A liter of absinthe? No, I
Yes,
don't.
because I have taken that and it does not end up well.
No, I can't imagine.
Really?
it
Have
would.
you?
Well, not that much, but a lot. Enough to make me fall asleep in a pizza box.
That's
Sounds
That's a
Healthy.
true story.
Enough.
That's a true story.
It's squishier than more comfortable than a lot of things you could have fallen asleep on. Was the pizza already taken out of it?
Who do you think you're talking to? Of course it was taken. But
It was.
it was ingested
POP?
instantaneously. Yeah.
All right, guys. So what I learned this weekend, though, watching the Last Chance qualifier, was that there's not a ton of shakeup to the tournament meta from this new set. Obviously, Secret Paladin has made an appearance and is a known quantity in tournaments and needs to be respected. But I've seen a lot of very similar, very kind of run-of-the-mill Druid decks are still really popular. Their consistency just is kind of unmatched for tournament play. So they've still been a big force. And I was surprised by how much Control Warrior I saw as well. But it did seem like the more common choice for the winner's side, at least, was Patron. But, Control Warrior is one of those decks that handles Patron pretty well. So, I'm curious, I don't know how much of the tournaments you guys have watched recently, but is there anything you guys have noticed? And then we'll talk about that Ryzen Rogue deck I saw. after we talk about anything you guys have seen recently that you think might make a play in tournaments.
I haven't.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Levins.
Hey, Flex,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, I haven't watched any tournaments. I just haven't had time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, So I mean, it makes sense that obviously, if you're serious about winning this tournament, you have to bring Patron, and you have like Secret Paladin is definitely a threat now. I could see Control Warrior because it handles Patron, but I think you would just rather bring Patron anyway.
Yeah,
But
I'm definitely in that camp myself. What about you, Blevins? Anything you've seen?
Yeah, I haven't like Aphex. I haven't really seen any of the actual tournament, but just in ladder, I'm starting to see Patron come back more. I think people stopped playing it for a while because they just want to play the new cards. When you're trying to win a tournament, you obviously want to bring the best decks and the most consistent decks. And we've talked about this before, where unlike Magic, where you can be rewarded heavily for bringing like a quote unquote like spicy unknown deck. The fact that you play best 3 out of 5 kind of reduces the impact of having one super good deck. And the downside of it being that you just like throw games away because you brought a bad deck is way more punishing than it is that you can, win a game out of nowhere. Like at best, it's going to get you 1 win, and at worst, it can't win against any of their decks, and you just lose. That's the problem, I guess, with the Conquest format. What's kind of interesting, and I don't know, Jim, maybe you can inform us more about what you saw in the tournament. On ladder, I have seen very, very little traditional handlock. I'm still pretty high up on the ladder, like rank. Like, I'm like over rank 10 right now because I haven't played that much. But like I've seen very, very little handlock in the traditional sense. I've seen a couple. But maybe like 1 or 2, not like the normal spattering of handlock. I haven't seen any Wilfred Fizzlebangs, which is kind of disappointing. I don't know if you guys have come across much handlock at all lately.
No, unfortunately, handlock's one of those things that aren't good anymore. Really, like I saw Joey SC2 playing handlock, and he had Wilfred Fizzlebang, and then I looked again, and he was not playing handlock anymore. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
sad
kind of
about
weird. It's kind of crazy though, because like handlock has been around since like before the game came out. Like handlock was around in beta. It's just one of those like mainstays that's just always been there. There's always been a face hunter deck. There's always been a handlock deck. There's always been a control warrior deck. It's just kind of weird, if we see the era where handlock is just not good anymore. Which is kind of weird because it seems like it got a number of good tools to be tweaked a little bit. Maybe that like some of the the cards that are taken for granted, like Twilight Drake, might need to get reevaluated. Maybe they need to change it up a little bit. I don't know. It just seems interesting to me that this deck that's just been such a pillar of like every single Hearthstone meta since since beta is might finally be falling.
Well, the answer on ladder, at least, is the deck is really good against patrons, so it does have its viability. It's pretty bad from what I've seen against the Secret Paladin, though. Those decks really don't play Siphon Soul anymore, and as somebody that's been playing a lot of Dragon Priest, I can tell you have to single target removal the 6/6 when he plays it. You have to activate the Get Down and the Redemption before you do that. Those are things that that has to be done before you can even consider winning the game. So I need Shadow Word Death really bad, and it only costs me 3 mana, so it gives me the ability to do some other things. It costs 6 mana. That's the same turn they played it. You can do nothing else when you do that. So I think handlock is, I haven't tested it to know, this isn't anything I'm presenting as fact or close to it, but I would think handlock's pretty bad against the Secret Paladin deck, and that's way more popular than Patron. So
True.
That kind of pushes it out of the ladder a little bit. I saw it a lot in the tournament, though.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you can be bad against one deck that everybody's going to have and still be a viable deck for you. You just probably don't lead with it. But yeah, so it's the ones in the tournaments did not play Wilfred Fizzlebang either. So I thought that was curious because I can't imagine that card's bad in the handlock deck. The only thing I can think of is that just I don't know. I really can't answer why they're not including it. It just seems really powerful to me. But having not cracked one and opened one, and I ran out of dust making things I knew I was going to play, I haven't been able to test with it to see exactly why it's not been working for him. But yeah, I don't think Handlock's dead by any means, but the metagame has to shift, and Secret Paladin has to be a little less popular.
Yeah, it seems that like basically what Handlock does is just really bad about the threats that are being presented in with Secret Paladin. Like, it's not even like the secrets present a whole new like dimension of things that you need to counter. Like, Handlock is really good at, you know, having bigger threats. So if they have big threats, you can just go over the top with playing multiple 8/8s, giving them taunt, etc., etc. Or it has board removal / big taunts to deal with small threats. But when you have, you know, one huge threat or multiple small threats, or, you know, both and secrets, it's just like it's too many angles for the Handlock deck to deal with. And like, if you like, a lot of times you can race with Handlock if you have like an 8/8 or a 9/9, but when they have Get Down and Redemption, it's like, well, your 8/8 is real cool, bro, but it's gonna take 2 turns to attack. Hope you can kill me. But, you know, that definitely makes sense that you wouldn't see it on ladder, but you would see it in tournaments. That's kind of what I expected, but I just have barely seen it at all in ladder, which is shocking to me.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because like there are these decks that are like really respected in the Hearthstone community, like Handlock, like Oil Rogue, you know, and those are just gone now, you know.
Yeah.
Due to, I mean, like Secret Paladin, which like Secret Paladin is an interesting deck. It has a lot of synergy, like, but I mean, like the 1/1 secrets are like basically a third of your deck. But once you draw a challenger, it takes all those secrets out of your deck, and you're not drawing those secrets anymore. So it just like has amazing synergy. But I would really like to see Handlock come back, and I would really like to see Oil Rogue come back. And the only way for that to happen, I think, is for something to happen with Secret Paladin. Like, but right now it doesn't have any hard counters, which is the problem.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'll say, I mean, the hard counter really, I think, is Flare, and that's why hunters, mid-range hunters, really stuck around.
That's the counter. Yeah,
but
if they draw it.
I've got to say, having tried to build some hunter brews that aren't too cheesy for me to be able to play, I lost like 3 ranks doing that, like trying to make hunter work. Like, I understand it's going to be okay, but I want to do a little something extra with hunter. I'm so bored with everything it's doing that just
play
adding Flare to counter
Mukla
it.
and Hound
I've
Master.
been beat by Mukla's champion multiple times this week, Blevin.
Yes!
And they've all been hunter decks playing it.
That's
so,
awesome. I'm so happy about that. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I love this champion. Favorite card, best card.
That's apparently borderline legit. But what's it called? The Rogue deck.
Oil Rogue.
Oil Rogue, yes. That's the deck Ryzen was playing in the last call qualifiers, and he crushed Secret Paladin with it. I mean, crushed it.
I believe it.
Yeah, you get to carry Fan of Knives to deal with the musters. The weapon picks them off easy enough and breaks Divine Shields and things like that. Kills the Get Down after it gets brought back before you can Competitive Spirit the board and make it even bigger. And you just have to be really smart about your Fan of Knives, not your Fan of Knives, your Blade Flurries, because that's what takes down the 6/6. Like, he, pumped up a weapon a little early. That deck has no way to stop it. Like, if you put a poison on a weapon early, or if you are aggressive with one of your oils and then leave the weapon charge kind of sitting there with some power to it to wait to counter it, it seemed really, really effective. And granted, it's one game because it's a tournament. But I gotta imagine that's why he brought it, because it was a middle game in the round, and he brought it in to counter when he knew his opponent was going to be playing Secret Paladin. So I think that's interesting and something I wanted to talk about and look at.
Jim,
good.
Are you saying that the counter to Secret Paladin is Deadly Blade or Poison Blade or whatever that card is, that epic rogue spell?
It very well might be. The only problem is that most of the Patron Warriors are still playing Harrison. So I could see getting away with the Poison Blade more in the tournament setting, so that way you can know, I'm not going to see Acidic Swampoos or Harrison Jones coming down against me in this matchup, so now's the time. That might be the case. It's a fairly good observation, honestly.
That would be pretty sweet if that card got... if that was like a tournament, like a niche tournament staple, that would be sweet.
Yeah, that's your new project, Blevins. That's your homework for next week. You got to find us a tournament to get ready for.
I had two 60 gold rogue quests at once, so I just built a rogue deck. I didn't put the Poison Blade in, but it actually was doing pretty decent. I doubled up on Fan of Knives because obviously the musters. I also threw our buddy Dark Iron Skulker in there. He seems pretty good. And Cut Purse. Is Ryzen playing Cut Purse or no?
I didn't see it, but I don't think the game went especially.
The card is pretty swingy. It's either really, really good or just a 2/2 for 2, which is pretty bad.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll move things on here. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, to stump the Blevins. That's where we've communicated with Baephlex before the show. I've got a couple of cards here that he wants to throw at the Blevins. See if he is able to properly mimic the cards' voices. And Baephlex, I know you're usually streaming, so I don't know how much you've seen this. You might actually be impressed by the test card. But Blevins, Sludge Belcher.
Tubs feel funny.
So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, he's disgustingly good at it, and
that was really good. Wow.
It's upsetting. And he can do them for almost anything. Now he's not been the most active Hearthstoner with the new job as he's been settling in since the new set. But nonetheless, we do have a new card here for you, John.
All right.
And the first one is Master of Ceremonies.
Master of Ceremonies. Do I even know what that card is?
This is the 3-mana 6/4.
Oh, never once even seen that card played.
3-mana 4/2.
Yeah, if you got the spell damage, it gets +2/+2.
Yeah, nope, nothing. I got nothing.
Two
I've
heroes
never
enter.
seen the card.
One hero leaves.
2 heroes enter. 1 hero leaves. It's a pretty cool one. I don't know.
It's a pretty cool text. I'll give you that. I
like
just have never even seen the card played before.
All right. Well, we're going back a little bit to some old stuff here. This is a what's Goblins vs. Gnomes card for the second one. So he's up on you 2-0. He beat you. But
that's true.
Save yourself a little respect here, Blevins.
All right.
Enhanso Mechano.
Oh, I know what it is. I don't know if it's the right word, but if it's even close, I'm taking the point. So it's like Expectification Enhancing.
Enhancification commencing.
Enhancification commencing.
Enhancification commencing. There you go.
That's good, man.
Yeah,
wow.
It's uncanny. Some of them. I don't know, like Leper Gnome is one that he
Leper Gnome's not that good. I just do it all the time.
Yeah.
I feel icky.
Like, it doesn't actually sound like him, but you know what I'm trying to do.
Like, unless it's a very feminine voice and he can't get the register, it's usually pretty absurdly close.
Yeah,
this is tangentially related to Stump the Blevins. So, side note, I'm at my job and I'm making calls to different companies, blah, blah, blah. I have to call Blizzard, like the Blizzard, like the company that makes Hearthstone. I have to call them for whatever reason, doesn't matter. I get their automated answering machine, and this is not a joke, this is an actual story, this is true story. Their automated answering service is Deckard Cain from Diablo.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. It's like, hello, friend. If you know the 6-digit extension of the wizard you'd like to speak to, please enter it now. Otherwise,
so awesome,
stay a
man.
while and listen to our menu options as they've recently changed. I'm not kidding. That's actually what it was. That's actually what it was.
That's so great.
That made my life. That made my life.
That is pretty exciting. And
I want to work for a company like that.
I think you need to get us the Blizzard phone number. We won't do it on the show because I know you can get in trouble for that. I just want to call. I just want to hear it. I'm going to call them after hours and hear
yes. I want to be able to call. Oh wow.
That would be really awesome. When I had a similar job to what Blevins is doing now, I loved that they gave me the NFL's phone number, and I may or may not have put that in my phone. And you know what? I'm pretty upset with Roger Goodell right now, so I might give him a little ring-a-ding after.
So we're starting a third show. It's called Death Blow Gets Arrested. For legal reasons, I'm going to say I'm definitely not going to do that.
Yeah, we can't have you actually do it, but it would be fun to talk about and maybe experience completely unbroadcasted.
Right.
All right, well, now is the Q&A portion of the show, so if anybody does have any questions for me and John, and of course for Baephlex, now is definitely the time to go ahead and ask them. Now, I'm not sure what... I tried to leave some things to talk about. Blevins, what was your note here? Azure Drake and Freeze Mage Kappa? I did not understand that.
Baephlex was talking about this yesterday on his stream.
Oh.
And so someone... Baephlex is playing Freeze Mage, and if I mess anything up, Baephlex, just correct me.
All right.
And you're playing Freeze Mage, and you've got Azure Drake, and like everyone in the chat is just barraging you, like, dude, you should be playing Blood Mage Thanos instead of Azure Drake. You should play Blood Mage Thanos instead. Like everyone is like giving you all these reasons, and or not giving you any reasons. That's the thing that was making me mad. People are just like, just play Blood Mage, just play Blood Mage, just play Blood Mage, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, he probably should play Blood Mage, but like no one is giving any reasons whatsoever. They're just spamming just play Blood Mage, and then you like Azure Drake was super good in one game, and like you're like, dude, just give me one reason why I should play Blood Mage over Azure Drake, and no one said anything, and I'm like, if you're gonna say stuff like that, at least give a reason. I could have said something, but I was just whatever.
I mean, obviously, Blood Mage Thanos, I mean, it's a great card in Freeze Mage, but I don't know, man. I was going against so many warriors, and I just felt like I needed a body on the board to hit him in the face, because like the thing is with Freeze Mage, you have a limited amount of damage. So I mean, if you can find a hole in like the whole process of the game where you can get a body on the board and start attacking, then it just makes it so much easier. You know?
Yeah.
So, and if he honestly, if he like death bites your, like if you hit him in the face once and then he death bites your Azure Drake, that's 8 damage. That's more than a Blood Mage Thanos is gonna do, even with Wombo combo. So
that's true. And
the thing that you lose is like you lose Blood Mage Thanos Blizzard against Patron, but I run 2 Flame Strikes anyway, so I was winning against Patron, and I was even winning against Control Warrior, which is like a 5%, like, you know.
That's true.
But like, I would just out-fatigue them every time.
Wow. That's crazy.
As far as I'm concerned, if you were winning games with Freeze Mage, nobody has any business to tell you what you should or shouldn't be playing in it. Because I got to tell you, I think it's really well positioned in the metagame right now, so I built it up trying to do a quest. And I am just remarkably bad at that deck again. Like, I spent a lot of time trying to learn it.
Are you playing Domo?
No. This was like a very traditional Freeze Mage. Though I understand there's been like some giant-based...
Domo, really?
Oh, Grinder Mage? There was a good little bit last meta game where we spotlighted that deck and we played it some in the after show. It was surprisingly pretty good.
That deck is insane. It was like the Ragnaros hero power with like Maiden of the Lake and like Koldara Drake.
Oh,
is that the same one?
No, this was before Grand Tournament I was talking about.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I definitely just lost my mind a little bit though.
Yeah, we're building that.
Yeah, like people were like doing the Ragnaros hero power like 10 times on a turn.
Wow. If you've got a list for that, you just go ahead and feel free to ship it.
That is
all right, I'll find it.
Awesome. Yeah, but to kind of wrap up the Freeze Mage thing, like Freeze Mage is the type of deck that's like pretty like it's weird because it's really linear in terms of what it's doing. Like when you're playing against Freeze Mage, you know exactly what they're going to be doing. Like obviously they have cards in different orders, and the deck is very skill intensive, but it's a pretty linear deck. If you throw like a Ratchet into that plan, like Azure Drake, for instance, like no one is expecting the Azure Drake. People are going to like be coining out their weapons to just do face damage because they know, quotes, they know that there's not going to be any minions to target, so they just waste their stuff. Well, you throw an Azure Drake out and they're like, I thought he was playing Freeze Mage. Why is there an Azure Drake on the board right now? I just used all my removal, I used my weapons on, nothing. And like you said, you don't have the wombo combo 1-turn burst with Thalanos, but like how much damage does that actually rack up? What, like 4 damage maybe?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
If you play 4 spells, it's plus 4 damage. That's fine. And if you need an early drop, sure, but
yeah, and it's a liability against Patron. You can't just put it on the board.
I don't disagree with the Azure Drake, and in fact, I think it's actually a pretty sweet innovation.
Yeah, the
Thank
other
you.
thing that's
I appreciate that.
nice to note about it too is we're talking a lot about the warrior matchups, and Patron especially has a limited number of executes and shield slams, and they typically, I'd say the average is probably 3 between them, because there's plenty of lists that just don't play the shield slams at all. So they want to save those cards for Doomsayers and things like that, and then they're gone, and you have
now they have another body to shield slam. So
right. So it's either you're clearing way for the 0/7 so that lives, or this is going to stick around because they already had to deal with the 0/7. So it's definitely interesting, and I don't think it's just wombo combo is great and all, and really a lot of what we've talked about with the Azure Drake has been the warrior matchup, but listen, there's a lot of control decks out there right now. It's 4 power minions are great against priest and things like that. So
exactly.
People shouldn't be afraid to. Don't play things just because it's what you've seen every time before. That's
right.
Not a good reason to do
Good
something.
advice.
Just test things out. In 2 games later, Baephlex might have just been like, Azure Drake's not working, and went to look for something else and just put the Blood Mage in. Anyways, but it doesn't matter. You still try it out, and especially now when the metagame's new and still malleable and can still be affected by things. So,
Yeah,
all right, guys.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I was just gonna wrap things up here. So feel free, if you had another point, feel free to.
Oh yeah, well I was just gonna say, just kind of build on what you were saying is when you play something that people don't expect, it's just so powerful. Even if the Blood Mage Downloads is technically a better choice than the Azure Drake, the fact that you have an Azure Drake, the mind games are so powerful. I reached rank 19 Legend with Druid because I had mind control techs. And people weren't playing around mind control techs, and every single I would just steal patrons, and I would just get so much value, But it definitely helps to play something that people just don't expect. So I kind of like to add a little spice into my decks every once in a while.
The wild card, yeah. We've actually kind of talked about that a little bit on one of the earlier episodes. I think. Well, I mean, your cards are much more plausible, but I was talking about how if you just randomly played a Deathwing in some decks, who is ever going to play around Deathwing?
This week, I got Deathwing by a Hunter deck.
Wow.
I just Shadow Word Deathed it, but it's still 7 for 1 to me. It was the dumbest thing ever. I had to top deck the Shadow Word Death to not lose to it, but it happened, and he could have very quickly if I didn't draw that card on the spot. He cast it, and I got that pit in the stomach, the cold sweat. This is about to happen.
This is going on Reddit. I know it.
Right. Pretty much the exact opposite of the only time I've seen an opponent play a Deathwing against Baephlex. I don't know if you remember what happened, Baephlex, but
I remember.
Yeah, he cast the Deathwing and killed your board, which included a piloted Shredder, which immediately spit out a Doomsayer and killed his guy. And he threw away 5 cards to do it because awesome. He was dead on board, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, I hit Legend for the first time that night. I remember.
Was that night?
Yeah, it was that night.
That's sick.
I have that on my highlights actually. And I was actually talking about modding you in the highlight.
Oh, now I've got to watch it. Now I've got to watch
Yeah,
it. It's like the
because
day
everyone
I
was
got
like, "You have
modded.
too many
and
mods." I
Apex
was
is
like, I don't have that many mods. I was like, Deathblow's not even a mod. I have to mod Deathblow, obviously.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up episode number 30 of Unleash the Cast. We will be back if you're watching us on Twitch, and just as soon as the credits roll here, to do a little bit of an after show. I'm not sure how long we'll have Baephlex for that, but he's more than welcome to stick around for as long as he would like to. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. As always, I'm Deathblow. That's the Blevins, and for the first time, hopefully not the last, that's Baephlex up there. So say goodbye. He won't be back next week, and I don't know, unless he really wants to. Just feel free to let us know. But usually he's streaming, and we're hosting him afterwards. So don't be a stranger around his stream. Twitch.tv/AEPHLEX. Check him out.
I'm gonna go sell out mode right now.
Yeah, link it in chat by all means. If they don't know you, shame on them. They need to figure it out. So we'll see you guys later next week.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
That was fun.
Yes.
Wait, Jim, can they hear us?
You mean like right now?
Yeah, I think I mean, I had to unmute myself so they could hear me too. But yeah, they can definitely hear us.
This happens every time there's a guest. Like we told.
This might be better than the sound of Blevins' keyboard while he yells at people on Reddit.
True. We told Ruben, like, hey, they can hear you afterwards. And he's like, oh, okay, so they can hear me right now. Like
Yes, that's
wait,
what
so
I
they can
just
hear me
told
right
you.
now? Yeah. It's
Correct.
like having a whole conversation with us.
That is
like,
accurate.
Hear you.
Affirmative.
But now it might just be a running gag.